This is the all-new 2012 Hyundai Genesis. You might remember back in 2009 that Hyundai introduced the Genesis for the very first time. Now, they never really planned to sell tons of these vehicles. It was more of an exercise to show themselves and all the other manufacturers what they were capable of doing. A high-quality car with the best in finish. It actually went on to win the North American and the Canadian Car of the Year in 2009. Well, this model is back for 2012, still sold as a V6 and a V8. The new V8 model we have here is called Spec. For me, it was the interior back in 2009 of the Genesis that really stood out for me. It showcased just how far Hyundai had come in terms of build quality. The fit and finish of the interior is very well done. The way the brushed aluminum fits inside the rest of the dash really looks first class, and now you're starting to see this level of finish migrate to their other products. For 2012, they didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, they stuck with the original interior. Minor modifications, you get heated seats in the Spec model in the back. Now, speaking of seats, I'm not crazy about the driver's seat. Higher end cars like BMW and Mercedes, you get the thigh extender on the bottom, which helps support your thighs for longer trips. You don't get multiple adjustment like you do on some of those higher end cars. Also, the seats have a heated and cooled function. I find the heated seats take forever to warm up. And on the cool feature, I couldn't tell you, it's too cold to use them. The controller here in the center is very easy to use. They have a center controller like BMW has with iDrive, but Hyundai has learned from BMW's mistake. They have a lot of buttons around the center controller to get into things like satellite radio, also to the navigation and other car functions. So it makes it easy to go back and forth without having to fiddle with the controller too much. The back seat is what you would expect from a full-size luxury sedan. Overall, the interior is still good even after all these years, making this Genesis a really nice place to spend time for all passengers. All Genesis models receive new headlights with LED accents, a bigger grille opening, a new front bumper, and chrome trim along the thicker rocker panels. You get brighter side window trim and new wheel designs with improved taillights, bumper, and exhaust tips around the back. The V8 model we have here is called Spec, and it gets a few extra tweaks, including extra trim around the windows, smoked headlights, and also 19-inch wheels. The base V6 model is a 3.8-liter unit, and it gets a 43 horsepower bump to 333 horsepower. That's substantial for a V6, mostly due to direct injection technology. The Spec with the 5-liter V8 jumps from 385 horsepower up to 429 horsepower, which is really near the top of the class in terms of power. Plus, you also get improved bottom-end torque. In addition to the Spec getting the bigger wheels on the outside, you also get stiffer springs, shocks, and thicker sway bars to provide a more performance-oriented suspension. Unlike expensive, very expensive German sedans, it doesn't have an adjustable suspension, so you can't turn off the firmness of the suspension. You get the passive shocks and that's it. Now, because there's no adjustable suspension on this Spec, in the city over bumpy roads it can be a little bit choppy. On the open road where it's smooth, it feels fantastic. I've had a chance to drive the V6 model with the more luxurious suspension, and that's more fitting with the image of this car, and I actually enjoyed driving it more in a day-to-day basis. Now, both cars are equipped with a new 8-speed automatic transmission, gives you more gear choices and better fuel economy. It doesn't have a sports setting. Many German cars specifically have a sports setting for the transmission that makes the car more lively. With this car, you have to drive it in either drive or shift it over to manual. There's nothing in between. The Hyundai Genesis starts at just under $40,000 for the base V6, and loaded with the V8, the Spec I have here, just over $53,000. A lot of car for the money. Now, why is this car cheaper than an LS from Lexus, maybe a 7 Series from BMW, or an S-Class from Mercedes-Benz? Well, even though it's a nicely equipped car, it doesn't have some technological features. One being an adjustable sports suspension that goes from being soft to firm at the flick of a button. It doesn't have a sports setting for the transmission. No paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. Convenience features like a power closing trunk or thigh extenders on the seat are missing missing from this vehicle. But overall, it offers a lot of value for the money. If you are interested in a Hyundai Genesis, do try the V6. At 429 horsepower, this car is a bit of overkill. 333 horsepower from the V6 is more than adequate, and I actually prefer the softer, smoother ride than the slightly choppy one you get with this performance model. Still, it won in 2009 as Car of the Year, and in 2012 it's still winning the hearts of people looking for a value-oriented luxury sedan.